Alright nerds, welcome to the first NoobHammer Grey Knight Brotherhood redesign video. Because it's the first one, I figured we'd go over the first Brotherhood, Swordbearers. No more preamble, anything like that, we're just gonna get straight into it. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to look at the lore of the Swordbearers and go from there how we're gonna design it. Grandmaster Varden Kai, the Steward of the Armory is his title. Fun fact, the new Demon Hunters, Chaos Gate, Grey Knight, XCOM style video game that's coming out, you take orders from Varden Kai, so that pretty much assumes that the brothers in that new game will be from the Swordbearers. Anyway, they're the vehicle Brotherhood. They're the one that uses a lot of combined arms, assaults with infantry and aerials support, and ground-based vehicles to go ahead and punch the enemy straight in the teeth. The next thing that I want to do is I want to look at what we currently get from the book and how I feel about them and what I want to change. So the first one is the stratagem marked for death. It's 2 CP. You have to be within 12 inches and be in line of sight. Then you can target one enemy unit. The whole army gets +1 to hit that unit. Not bad, not terrible. It's supposed to be that whole combined arms thing, I think, where like you have strike squad up front, really close, they can get this power off, and then all of your dread knights, because let's face it, that's what you're taking if you're running Swordbearers, is all your dread knights, and everyone else gets +1 to hit. Not bad, but a little expensive, and I don't think it's that great. I've never used it personally. So then we'll get to the Warlord trait here. Rights of Protection, it's a psychic action, so if you have this on your Warlord, you can't do another cast, you can't do Purifying Ritual, you can't change the tides, you can't do anything. You can only use this one power. One Swordbearer's vehicle model within 12 inches of this Warlord will have a 4-up invul save until the start of your next psychic phase. I don't think it's good. It's one of those things where you can stick it on a Storm Raven turn 1, but then it flies up the board. You're already not bringing anything else like Rhinos or Land Raiders or Storm Talons anyway, and Dread Knights already have a 4-up invul, so this is kind of redundant. And the fact that it's a psychic action really locks your Warlord down to trying to get this off every single turn. Now we get into the Brotherhood psychic power, Empiric Lodestone. We all know it, we all love it. Warp Charge, 18 inches of the Swordbearer unit that's casting it, then everyone else that's a Swordbearer vehicle gets +1 to wound whatever that target is. I love it. It's effective. We're going to keep it. So I want to talk about the mission statement again and how I was going to mess with the Brotherhood, how I was going to change it. It should incentivize a player to bring vehicles, and those vehicles should be able to do interesting and fun things relating to each other and infantry units. To that end, we need to address the shortcomings of vehicles in the current meta, and that is just that if you do not have an invulnerability save on these expensive vehicles, they die. This will be especially true with the new Eldar book, I think, and Haywire being everywhere. We need to look at adding invuls to vehicles. The same thing, there's an entire Deathwatch build with lots of dreadnoughts, and the reason is they can give them a 5-up invul in a big bubble. And it's a very good build because of that. So, my proposed passive bonuses are 1. Land Raiders, Rhinos, Storm Ravens, and Storm Talons in this Brotherhood gain a 5-up invul save, just across the board. Additionally, all Land Raider units will get the Assault Ramp ability, which allows Terminators, specifically, that are embarked within them, to disembark and still declare a charge in the same turn that the Land Raider finished a normal move. And then once per game per unit, at the start of your command phase, you can pick one Swordbearer's core, vehicle, or character unit to be in the Tide of Shadows. I think that it's neat to play with the tides more, bring them more into a cohesive part of the combat overall, not just, start in Shadows, switch to Convergence, and then stay there for the whole game. Now you'll be able to strategically choose to give various units Tide of Shadows for a little bit of durability. My proposed stratagem is called Danger Close Supporting Fire, and it's expensive. It's 3 CP, but what it will allow is a Swordbearer's vehicle unit to fire into melee combat where you have other units engaged. So if you really need some withering fire power into a whole bunch of corn demons or whatever, you can pop this and your Land Raider can fire all of its flamers and its side cannons into that melee. The Warlord trait, I want it to change to embolden the machine spirit. During the command phase, target one Swordbearers vehicle within 6 inches of this Warlord trait and it gets a 6-up Feel No Pain. Originally I made this a 5-up. I'm still on the fence whether a 5-up might be better, but what this means is that you can have your Terminators in a Land Raider, push it up the board, which helps get over one of the downsides of bringing Terminators. That Land Raider will have a 2-up save, a 5-up invul, and a 6-up Feel No Pain, so it'll make it a lot more durable. And lastly, we're going to get into the relic. For another reason to bring a Land Raider, I thought it would be really cool to give a Land Raider specific relic, the command and control locus, and it effectively gives that giant model a 6-inch captain reroll aura of 1s to hit. It's easy, it's effective, fun, it makes you want to bring a Land Raider. I put together a sample list as well. There's a link in the description to the paste bin down below. HQ would be a Tech Marine with Noble Death, the Etheric Conduit, and the Swordbearers Warlord trait. Then a Grandmaster and a Nemesis Dread Knight with Unyielding Anvil and Hammer of Righteousness. 5-man Terminator squad and 2 5-man strike squads, 2 5-man interceptor squads in your fast attack, and then heavy would be a Land Raider Banisher with multi-melta hunter killer missile because I had the spare points, so why not, and the command and control locus relic. Then another Dread Knight with the teleporter, sword, side cannon, and silencer for all those shunt shenanigans. And then a flyer, we give them a Storm Raven gunship. We give them every upgrade that we can. So you get the multi-meltas, you get the twin assault cannons, the double hurricane bolters, and then a rhino for a little bit of move blocking and other shenanigans with moving your troops up that extra 3 inches from embarking. I think this would be a really fun list. Again, this video does not go into any points adjustments, and this is how I would play it. So the Land Raider is able to quickly move the Terminators up into the middle of the board, perhaps for intercept data. The Tech Marine is there to give the Land Raider its Feel No Pain, and then also if the Terminators get engaged by a large blob of units, he can pop Noble Death, and now there are not just 6 obsec models on the board, you have actually 11 because the Terminators will count as a double, and then the Tech Marine will be 1, so that should stop you from having objectives taken off of you. The Tech Marine is also there to heal the Land Raider. The Land Raider can go ahead and fire into melee if those Terminators get engaged, so you can wipe things off the map. Meanwhile, the Storm Raven is flying around. It's 340 points, if I remember right. Having that 5-up invul will make you feel a lot better about bringing that. It'll be able to just pop things with those multi-meltas and side down troops with all that other large volume of fire from the assault cannons and the hurricane bolters. And then you can even use that strat as well for the Storm Raven if you get locked up in combat on the other side of the board with something really nasty and you just don't have enough to pop it on your next turn. You fire into melee if you're still alive. So that's it. That's how I think that this would play. What I think a list might be like that would be fun with this new Brotherhood redesign. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a good series? Is it interesting? Is it a waste of time? Because it'll never be live anyway. I want to go through every other Brotherhood still, but maybe let me know which Brotherhood you'd like to see next. And until then, thanks for coming by. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and don't forget, call your mother.